Our next presenter, Aiden Mark, is an avid volunteer and dedicated curler. Something interesting about him is that he can only see the colors yellow and blue. So going to IKEA must be a treat for him, rather than a mental breakdown like it is for the rest of us.
What mental breakdowns? Are you okay? Anyways, he's ready to share the path of opening your mind. Let's go, Aiden!
The puck drops. Connor McDavid has it. He skates past the defenders. The goalie never sees it. He shoots. He scores! Every Oilers fan stands up and they are cheering because their team has just beat the Los Angeles Kings. But somewhere in Los Angeles, Kings fans are crying. They're crying because their team has just lost in the playoffs. They're crying because they don't get to advance in the playoffs. But you're an Oilers fan, and that doesn't matter to you because they're just the stinking Los Angeles Kings, right? But what if it did? What if you were to maybe, perhaps, put your hand on an LA Kings fan's shoulder and think about what it's like to be in their shoes? This is the essence of an open mindset. An open mindset is taking other people's experiences, their own perceptions on life, and using them to form your own. I like to think of open-mindedness as a sponge. When you take a sponge, right, it's obviously a cleaning thing, so we all know that, but it can be so much more, especially when you compare it to something like a brick. A brick doesn't soak up water well. You just put it in water and it goes plunk, and that's it. There's nothing more to it. But if you take a sponge and you put in water, and let's say that that water represents other people's thoughts and feelings, it soaks up those thoughts and feelings. And then you wring it out, you kind of get rid of all of the noise in between, and you can use it to clean, and you can use it to shape your mind, and perhaps even open up new worlds. The open mindset really does open doors that never existed before. It can help motivate creativity, innovation, bring new ideas to the table. It can help you build relationships, work together with other people, and among many other things. But the thing is, an open mindset can only be made if there is an understanding of the pieces of the puzzle. But when you have an open mindset, and funny story actually, when I was driving with my Uncle Tim in his Milwaukee truck on the way back home from curling camp, I think last year, he turned over to me and he said, "Aiden, do you think the world is flat?" And I said, "Well, obviously not. That's such a ridiculous thing to say, right?" But then he was like, "But what if it was? And what if you kind of thought about how I was thinking that the world was flat?" I was like, "Well, that's strange because I know that that's not true. But, it could be." Now, the other side of the equation is the partisan or closed mindset. And generally, these are mindsets associated specifically with politics and politicians. You have your liberal way of thinking, you've got your conservative way of thinking. Lloydminster's obviously a conservative place, but if you went to Ottawa and you started talking conservatives to maybe, 2018 Ottawa that was still for Justin Trudeau, you maybe butt heads with a few people. You maybe make a few people kind of angry with your own opinions, right? This creates a lot of keyboard warriors, as we like to call them, a lot of people that argue among the ways of, "You're just wrong," or, that your opinion is invalid simply because it's not right in their mind. But to other people, that opinion very well could be right. You see, people with the partisan mindset think that the world is black or white, when in reality, the world is a million shades of gray. And everyone has their own unique perception on the world and on its problems, and most certainly on its solutions. And the thing is, the people who are going to be open-minded in the future and are going to work with everyone are going to be the ones that can connect with people and begin to put the puzzle pieces together to solving big problems. A lot of the partisan mindset is, well, these problems are like a wall. It's just there. We can't break through it. We have no solutions. But when you think openly and you start to work with other people, you can start to break down the foundations of that wall. And when you do that, anything is possible. For me personally, when I started thinking like my Uncle Tim taught me how to, it opened up a whole plethora of things. My relationships got healthier. I was able to associate with people who in the past had maybe done some wrong, but understanding their side of everything made me better friends with them. It opened up my innovation and my creativity, my passion for joining leadership and doing community-involved events. And all of this stuff couldn't have happened without thinking more open-minded. I started to understand myself more. I started to understand what I'm looking for in life more, my goals, my passions. But the partisan mindset thinkers would look at themselves in the mirror and they'd say, this is wrong with me. I have had this label put on me for the entirety of my life, and that's the label that I live by. But the thing is that if we live and we learn from labels and blend the lines between the labels to turn ourselves into something that we want to be, and we work with other people around the world, all of these different perceptions, all these different grays, that we can truly find a balance in this world. That we can solve the world's problems, that it isn't an unbreakable wall, and most certainly that the Oilers can win every single playoffs from now on. So, when you leave here today, are you going to be thinking with a closed mindset or an open one?